Blood on the wind. The air tastes like metal. Somewhere, a scream cuts through the dark, and the world stops breathing. The infection has begun. Subscribe to Think What If for more stories that push your imagination to the edge. The first hour is chaos. Phones die, radios hiss static, streets choke with abandoned cars, their doors hanging open like broken ribs. You stumble through the noise, heartbeat too loud, trying to remember what matters. You think of food, water, safety, but you've already forgotten the one thing that keeps you breathing when the dead begin to move: fire. A lighter. A single, dull piece of metal that could be the line between hope and nothing. When the sun collapses behind black smoke, fire is sight, warmth, and weapon. Flick it, watch it bloom. The hiss and spark sound like life itself. The first thing you need in a zombie apocalypse is a reliable way to make flames. Imagine a butane torch lighter, windproof and steady. You hold it under the dripping jaw of the first creature you've ever truly feared. The light dances across its pale skin before the smell hits you, iron and rot. You burn it, but that's only the beginning. The second thing you need isn't made of metal or flame. It hums quietly on your wrist. A solar-powered watch with built-in compass and survival functions. Time and direction. Without them, panic owns you. The clock becomes the heartbeat of sanity. Tick, tick. Each second reminds you that time still exists, that you still exist. But what happens when the solar sensors flicker under a blood-red sky? What happens when the ticking stops? In the third hour, thirst arrives. Not from heat, but fear. Your throat dries while every water source turns into a graveyard of infection. Rivers shimmer with oily colors. Wells stink. You need a portable water filter, small, light, and trusted by soldiers who once said the same thing, just in case. You press the straw into dirty water. You drink carefully. The cold slides down your throat, tasting like the world you lost. But deep down, you wonder what if the real danger isn't viral at all? Some parasites already control their hosts. Ophiocordyceps infect ants, forcing them to climb higher before dying so spores can spread in the wind. Rabies rewires the brain, turning life into hunger. Scientists in real labs study both, probing the delicate switch that separates human control from chaos. Somewhere between the petri dish and a forgotten cage, nature waits, ready for one mistake. Now imagine a virus built to cure brain damage mutating. How long would it take before empathy flips into rage? Before the eyes across from you stop seeing and start hunting? The fourth thing you need is silence. True silence. Noise attracts death. Every crunch, every cough could lead the infected straight to you. That's why you grab a pair of noise-canceling tactical earphones. They sharpen your senses, filtering chaos so you can hear the soft tread of something moving nearby. You press them in, holding your breath. The night becomes a living map of small sounds, a creak, a drip, a whisper. You realize you're not alone. You never were. When you finally speak, your voice trembles. The fifth thing you need is information. Communication when the world's voice goes dark. A hand-cranked emergency radio crackles with life. Static becomes music, a chorus of survivors somewhere. You turn the dial until you hear coordinates, faint but real. Your pulse rises. There's a safe zone or maybe a trap. Would you risk everything to find out? Morning brings no relief, only light that feels wrong. The air shimmers like fever. You wake with a cough. You remember the lab theory. Some viruses lie dormant, waiting for stress, heat, or radiation to wake them. Scientists once reanimated permafrost viruses trapped for millennia. Now the heat wave melts old ice again. Something ancient might already breathing near your camp. You zip your jacket higher, and that reminds you what's next. The sixth thing you need is armor, not steel, but fabric that breathes. A tactical jacket lined with Kevlar threads. It's light, flexible, almost warm when the nights bite. Blood slides off the coating. You move easier. The world smells like smoke and rain, and you feel, for a moment, like you might live. But then you see the first one wearing your friend's face. He's slower now, jerky, teeth clicking. He was human once. You look down at your jacket and realize protection isn't the same as peace. You keep walking. You count steps like prayers. One phrase keeps spiraling in your mind. Stay human, stay sharp, stay alive. The motif repeats, echoing through every choice. At step 10,000, you reach a highway. Empty cars glint in the sun. You smell gas, the sick, sweet trail of an explosion waiting. That's when the seventh thing shows its worth. A portable solar generator. Foldable panels, compact battery, silent. Power when there is none. You plug in the radio, the flashlight, even charge your drone. Technology feels like magic again. Until the drone's camera feed shows movement, 20 figures heading your way. You run. Gravel slips under your boots, breath on fire. You drop into a ditch and grip the eighth item, a survival knife. Balanced, razor edge, full tang steel. You remember watching a survivalist tutorial months ago, thinking it all looked performative, exaggerated. Not anymore. You use it to cut rope, pry open cans, and clear brush. Survival is built on small advantages. But when a blurred silhouette crashes closer, you realize it's also built on will. Would you use that blade on someone you loved if you had to? By nightfall, rain arrives. Acidic, faintly chemical, maybe from fires burning hundreds of miles away. You pull shelter from your pack, the ninth thing you need, an all-weather survival tarp. Lightweight, waterproof, with reflective backing that hides your heat signature. You set it up between burned tree trunks, the plastic crackling like fragile ice. Beneath it, you light your small fire again. The flame's reflection dances in your eyes. The rain hisses overhead, sounding like whispers in an empty cathedral. A question forms quietly. What if survival costs the part of you that makes life worth saving? Something shuffles outside the tarp. Too heavy for the wind. You freeze. The knife is already in your hand. The light flickers and dies. Then silence. You feel your pulse hammering. 10 seconds stretch into eternity. When dawn returns, you see footprints in the mud, but not humans. Wider, clawed. Maybe evolution didn't stop when the virus started. Maybe nature adapts faster than fear. That's when you realize the 10th thing you need is invisible. It doesn't fit in your pack. It's in your chest, raw and tender hope. The belief that something human still waits at the other end of this night. Because even now, scientists are working in hidden labs, studying viral vectors and parasites, searching for cures, and sometimes creating new horrors. Humanity always cuts close to its own throat. But it also rebuilds. You think of a child drawing on a wall with charcoal while the sky burns. You think of laughter echoing through ruins. Hope is the last light, the one you carry without fuel. You move again. The world around you hums quietly, alive in its broken way. Every step forward feels harder, but also more certain. You've learned what it means to endure. A lighter to start a fire. A watch that guards time. Water filtered through trust. Silence in your ears. Voices through radio waves. Armor that remembers loss. Power that defies darkness. A knife that decides fate. Shelter that whispers safety. And hope, the one thing they can't kill. In the distance, a shadow moves across the horizon. The virus, the parasite, the experiment never really ends, it only waits. The wind shifts, carrying the scent of metal again. You grip your pack tighter, whispering the line you've repeated from the start. Stay human, stay sharp, stay alive. You don't know if anyone else is left to hear you, but you keep walking, toward a sound that might be a city or just another storm. What would you do now? How far would you go to stay with you? Somewhere in that answer lies the truth of every apocalypse. It's never just the dead rising. It's the living deciding what's worth dying for. The world ends quietly, then begins again with a breath. And if you listen closely, you can hear that slow inhale of something new waiting to be born beneath the ashes. Maybe it's monstrous, maybe it's beautiful, maybe it's both. The fire burns again, the clock ticks, the night whispers to you. Stay human, stay sharp, stay alive. Subscribe to Think What If for more worlds you should never forget.